Welcome to the mind of LANCESCURV, the most creatively profound man in cyberspace.
Good day, good evening, and all ships at sea, and even to the ignorant American. We've been having, and we will have a conversation about the destruction of America. This is not the title, but it should be titled Destruction. We find ourselves viewing the idiot box. We will have an opportunity to give you enlightenment from my perspective, and I must give my views. This is not a happy occasion. This is not a profitable occasion. Those who've had an opportunity to listen to me over the years fully understand that I have never asked for anyone to give me accolades or thumbs up, that I share these comments, these thoughts, and even the Freudian slip to enlighten my people to the destruction of America. We could talk about the bad boy, what you gonna do when they come for you as Puffy finds himself with a $30 million lawsuit. But that's insignificant. That's foolishness. That is a distraction. The real thing, the real scene, the observance of a true American is to talk about the critical issues. Talk about the foolishness of Chicago. Talk about the foolishness of New York. As we are being told different figures about the number of immigrants who have crossed the border. One day it goes to 12, and another day it goes to 10, and then another day it goes to 80, but the numbers still climb, and your situation gets ignorant. Your situation gets more critical. And as we listen to the foolish Negro from Chicago, who ain't even got sense enough as he watches the Chinese in his neighborhood have sense enough to protect their children, he is most concerned about who has the best master. Yes, who has the best master? A master is an individual which you fall in love with through Munchausen syndrome, and you use it for justification for looking at change. This is a true fact, good people. You can hate Trump. You can hate Biden. You can love Trump. You can love Biden. But neither one of them, as Biden is looking at his son go before congressional hearings, an investigation about the money that he has stole from the American people, the defense of America, as you prepare yourself listening to the French tell you that it's time to put boots on the ground, as war comes closer and closer to a neighborhood near you. I urge you to participate in the political structure of this country. I ask you, I beg you, to pay attention as they get ready to send your sons and daughters into foreign lands to protect the freedom of others, but you are still faced with dangers from the boys in blue, from the representatives who stand at your city council meeting and tell you that the immigrant is more important, as you've seen in the 80s and 90s as they cut off food stamps and they tell you that you must work for the aid that they give you from your own taxpayer dollars. And as you look upon YouTube, Rumble, and all those channels, we're not going to talk about the Foule channels. We're not going to talk about those individuals who send you the distractions. These distractions is to pacify you as they give you the two-piece chicken dinner. Yes, the two-piece chicken dinner. To lead you and lure you, to lull you into some form of a hypnotic trance so you cannot see the destruction of your country. As you look upon Georgia and you look upon little Venezuela, once called New York, Even a child can see what is going on. But at least a child would ask the ultimate question, what are you getting out the deal? Yes, I've said this before. What are you getting out the deal? What you're getting out the deal is a fourth-class citizen status. I ask you to evaluate that fourth-class citizen status, and you must forgive me who have problems with my teeth, who seeks medical attention, as I once said, and I've almost had them all pulled out, and I'm going to pull this tooth, which leads you to ignorance, that fourth-class citizen status. Your concern is about Puffy. Your concern is about Wendy Williams. Your concern is about the foolishness of the cowboy dance brought across the board and how it makes you feel good, how it makes you feel jiggy. So, as many times before, I've asked you to posse up to the table and have a conversation. The only way we, as the fourth-class citizens of this country, yes, before we thought it was just an idea of the replacement theory, but it is here, as we're on the verge of war, as the doctors in Washington, D.C. says that your president who talks to bunnies that he cannot see, the dog has more bite than Joe Biden. The dog who bit the CIA, the security staff, 9 times, he has more balls than Joe Biden. At least they removed him to a family member near Joe. Joe protected his son. He won't protect you. As we watch the little white girl in Georgia be beaten to death, and her parents have to have open caskets because Joe let the wrong kind of Venezuelan, Colombian, Nicaraguan, and if I pronounce these countries properly by their names, and I'm hoping that no one will correct me because they need an excuse not to look at what is really going on, as they see in New York, and they have 80 in a basement, as they get food stamps, and yours were cut off in the 90s, because they wanted you to go to work. They didn't want you to sit at home and watch TV. They didn't want you to learn the English language. That's right. They did that in the book. They have more time. They have no monitors on their legs. These is the making of you, the fourth-class citizen. You may feel that by choosing the side of humanity, as they are calling it, when they deny you and your children the right to have a proper education, why they put your veterans on the streets, why they can't even find justification for raising your taxes, that when you go to the grocery store, you have to make a choice between milk and water because they both as expensive than they were 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. You are most concerned about others' plight. You find no justifiable reason to ask the real questions about America, why that you pay money to be on ankle monitors so they can monitor your movement, but they cannot put ankle monitors on 83,000 missing immigrant children. This is sad, but I'm the bearer of bad news. I'm the one who incites because I asked you to be other than the straw man, to use your brain, to have a pure thought about your self-survival. These things are most important to your children. Their future should be your concern. Their well-being should be your concern. Their safety should be your concern. But no, you have a debate about who has the best master. May it be the Democratic Party, may it be the Republican Party. Neither works in your best kingdom because they have their own kingdom. They have their own party affiliates. As you see blackface politicians tell you that Joe want to feed you chicken, Trump want to give you tennis shoes, gold, with number 7 on it. You who listen to that politician that tells you that your assimilation is based in your acceptance of the bumfoolery. I can only bring these things to your attention. I can only urge you upon bended knee. Yes, not one knee, but both knees. In prayers, I ask you to open up a dialogue within your communities, to beg you to look at how you spend your taxes and how their taxes will be spent. As you see your mothers and fathers scrape their small pennies together just to try to make it to the end of the day. These are heinous things that I bring to your attention. And others say, well, where are you going with this? Why are you bringing these things to my attention? Why are you concerned about these things? This is not my country. But you say that the motherland is your country. They don't want your foolish thinking pursuits in their nations. They don't even want it on the continent. As Jamaican says, that if you don't hold a passport, because they not black Americans. They're not black like you. They have a diverse nation in Jamaica. But all want to come here. All want to benefit from the land of milk and honey. The land of milk and honey is the land of Kool-Aid in ignorant colors. It is time, America. May you be black. May you be white. And I pray that both races are listening at this time. That our concern is that the Republican, the Democrat, those who sit in the House, those who sit in the Senate, those who sit on the Supreme Court, those who sit in immigration, Homeland Security, the EPA, all those departments who are not looking at your best interest, but are looking at their salaries and their benefits in hopes that November 4th, that you're foolish enough to participate. We see even in Michigan that they rather, hear what I say carefully, they rather pick Mickey Mouse to be their choice than Joe Biden. Even in Michigan, the Arab American, he's decided that he's going to be non-committal, that 12% had decided that they do not have confidence, that they're uncommitted because they see no benefit in either party, that they're trying to bankrupt Trump because they feel in New York by taking all of his assets, by making him put up a bond, that's going to persuade you to not vote for him. I'm not going to persuade you not to vote for him. I'm not going to persuade you not to vote for Joe Biden. But what I will try to convince you that it is in your best interest, with all of the comments that I make, to pay attention, to look at the fact that Joe Biden's doctor said there's nothing wrong with him while he talked to the Easter Bunny, that he can't recognize his sister-in-law from his wife. Something is clearly wrong with the man. And that, as I have already said for multiple years, the 25th Amendment, the 24th Amendment is in play. That Joe Biden, before November 4th, will have a strange accident before November 4th that someone will take a shot at Trump, because there is no convincing the American black that he is not in their country. When the pumpernickel doughboy tells you that the only reason that you find endearment to Mr. Trump is because he had a mugshot, or he feels like the oppressed individual who is being held down by the criminal justice system, which is clearly corrupt, more corrupt than you really understand, when the best interest is to have closed hearings over Joe Biden, and they talk about how much dope he smoked, how much crack he consumed, how many trick holes he laid down and bent over on Air Force One. This is their concern, to give you the true, I could say, distraction, that when they make their final move, and I pray that I'm wrong, because when this occurs, when they make their final move and they put the piss-colored heifer in charge, and she looks at NATO and she sends your sons and daughters to die in foreign lands for their pockets, not your democratic ideas, not your freedom, but for their profits, for their money. When you can't pay that light bill, when you can't pay that medical bill, when you can't put gas in your tank, when the economy finally bottoms out and you're all scrambling for jobs and they lower the wages close enough to the immigrant that he will bow down, as they give him the right to vote, as they work so aggressively to take the right of vote from you. These are sad things. We're in troubling times. I could look for fancy words. I could try to convince you by pointing fingers at one party and then pointing the other finger toward the other party, but still just the same. Even a child could see. Even the little one would know or believe if told them so. You are second to none. You're fourth to none. And as Brian Johnson, the foot nigger for Lyndon B. Johnson, as those brave elderly stand at the city council meetings and say that this is what a free Negro look like, we still see no symptoms from Chicago, Boston, Memphis, that the end is even closer than you can realize. So I ask you in these final hours, in these final days, as we have 8 to 7 months left before we go to the polls, that it is in your best interest to be non-committed. It is in your best interest to show up at your city councilman meeting and remove these similarities of freedom, these individuals which you have lent your vote to, you gave your vote to, that you rented your vote to, even, yes, sold your vote to. Time is becoming short. As the last dropping of sand falls through the hourglass, it is time to be focused. It is not the worry of the black man. He has already been treated badly. Everyone is pandering to him. Everyone is saying that it is all up to the black man to decide who is going to be president of the United States. If not, they will pull out the hard card and give that vote, which belongs to the black man, who have a vested interest in this country, even though he feels it's not his, to look at the hourglass and see the dropping of the sand in these very few moments. Please Wake up, good people. Please be other than a conscientious observer. Be a person who is not afraid to speak to those politicians who lie to you in your face and say no more. Start with Chicago, who is refusing to call and recall Brian Johnson. Like most of the sanctuary cities, they cry, as I am crying to you. You can call it a rant. You can say it makes little to no sense what he is saying. But each and every point, each and every example that I give to you, it is in your best interest to pay attention. It is in your best interest to use your phone properly and call your legislators and say no more. It is in your best interest, black man, to put away hateful thoughts of racism and try to find some common ground with your white brother. Yes, he is your brother because you share the same blood. Because as he will die in the streets and in foreign lands, your children will too. This is your boy, Mr. Political. I may have other suggestions very soon as we move. I may even point you in a direction which will help you decide what you will do upon that mighty day, that November the 4th. That if you pick and pull the lever for either party and not take a pen and write in the blank, that Master, we tired. Master, we sick and tired of your existence. That it is better to disband our government, to remove a Democrat, to remove a Republican, not to pick Biden, not to pick Trump, not to argue who is the racist, who panders, or you will not have a chicken in a pot, but a plot to lay your sons and daughters in. These are critical times. Please pay attention. This is your boy, Mr. Political. Unfortunately and sadly, I'm out.
Make sure to go to LANCESCURV.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of LANCESCURV, trust me, you'll be back for more. LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.